Hi, Cancer Sun and Rising. Welcome to your August 2025 Astro Update. It's Raina here. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things that are going on that come into August with. First of all, the Sun is in Leo, which is the sign after you. So this affects your second house of earned income. And there's a Mercury retrograde there starting from July. I'm recording this in July. I don't have my ephemeris in front of me. I believe that the retrograde begins around July 18th or so. So Mercury will be retrograde until the 11th of August and out of its shadow on the 26th. The post-shadow period, the pre- and post-shadow periods of these personal planets can sometimes be, presenting this same type of effects as they are during the retrograde. So that's why they are noted when a planet comes back to that degree that it was retrograding at. That's when it comes out of its shadow. So it'll be on the 26th of August when that occurs for Mercury. And so the thing that I always think about with, like if somebody has Mercury retrograde in the second house, because Mercury can be communication, right? And the male, I'm sure, applies to the third house, that Mercury rules. Mercury rules the sixth house too, but in terms of what we're talking about here with communication, the third house, the check is in the mail, that kind of thing. So understand that there may be something going on with your finances that is a little bit shaky, that is a little bit uncertain. And at the end of August, this should be stabilized, okay? It could be a decision that you have to make. You might be rethinking something about how you earn money, Cancer, or what you choose to invest in, because the second house is not only the money that you make, but the money that you spend. Like it can be luxury items, and maybe there's something you want. Cancer tends to be a frugal sign. I would say unless you have a lot of Leo, like the Sun in Cancer versus Cancer rising, but Sun in Cancer, I'm talking about specifically because Leo can be extravagant. But in general, I think that Cancer individuals are very cautious with money. So there might be some big expense that you would like to maybe take part in, but you're rethinking it or researching more to make sure that you're getting the right thing. And that, like I say, at the end of the month, that should be something that you're able to really move forward on with more confidence. The other thing, which is really great, is that both Venus and Jupiter are in your sign. And Venus will change signs on the 25th, but then it goes into your second house. But having them both in your first house can be just feeling very positive. With Venus, it can be being magnetic. Venus is the divine feminine. It's magnetic, it's passive. It's like when we talk about income, because Venus and Jupiter can be money, Venus can be passive income. And I'm not saying that literally, but I'm just saying like where money is coming to you and you're just not lifting a finger. You're just kind of like, okay. It's like I picture this image of Venus on a couch, just kind of watching the money come in. But just even other people being attracted to you. So if you're a single Cancer, that might be really great. You might find that you're able to date more because you just have a lot of people that are attracted to you. Venus is the attractor. So that can be very good when you're talking about the first house, because that's you and they are attracted to you. Jupiter here can affect your mood, jovial. Cancer people can be moody because you're ruled by the moon. So that boisterous Jupiter, cheerful, kind of loud, mood might be really what you want, because that when they talk about the law of attraction, that's part of it, is that when you are feeling good, then you attract good to you. So that can be good for that. So those are the things that we come into August with. On the 6th of the month, Mars goes into Libra. This is a fellow cardinal sign, so this is going to be your 4th house of home and family that Mars is going into. This is the house that you rule in astrology, Cancer. So Mars, the god of war, in the house of family. I mean, I'm joking about it, because Mars can just mean you're placing extra emphasis, or just there's a lot of energy that's going into it, even physical energy. So we could even just say, like, somebody who's getting their house renovated. That could be Mars in the 4th house. It could be getting your house ready because you plan to sell your house. It could be, or you're planning to move house. So you're packing up. So Mars, you're really spending time at home because you're doing something that is going to change your environment. But it could be that there is some conflict. And the 4th house to me is the mother. That's what it represents to me. Some people say it's the father. We could say it's the family of origin. We could say it's the parents. And there could be some conflict there, or simply extra involvement with them, with one of them for some reason. August can be a time when people decide to finally take their vacation because they've been procrastinating all month. So maybe you're going to be doing stuff with them, visiting them. On the 9th, we have a full moon at 17 degrees of Aquarius. And for you, Cancer, this is the 8th house. And this is, it's so funny because Aquarius is such a detached sign. But because this is falling in your 8th house, this should be pretty emotional for you. And the 8th house is the house of transformation. It's the house of the shadow. It's the house of death. So you may realize that something has got to stop, has got to end in your life. You may realize that you have to make some deep changes. If you are having any kind of conflict with one of your parents, you may see something that you have tried to suppress within yourself. That's what the shadow can be about. For Cancer, I would say one of the biggies is codependency. The fact that Jupiter is in your sign for the next 12 months, I think this is going to blow up. They say that Jupiter expands whatever is going on in that person's life. So if you have been prone to codependency, Cancer, then it's time that you look at that. Because Cancers can be martyrs. They can be like, I do all this for these people, and what do I get in return? And when people do that, they're not really being honest, because it's not selfless. Because if it was truly selfless, there wouldn't be any expectation of what you're going to get in return. And, you don't have to feel bad about that because it doesn't make you some kind of Machiavellian jagoff or something. It simply means that you probably are doing it for a reason. Like you want to be loved, you want to be needed. And that, whether you're overprotecting your child and maybe keeping them from doing what they need to do for themselves. And it could be an adult child, or it could even some child who's a minor child, but they're getting more and more independent and it's freaking you out. These are the kind of things that can come up for you. And you will be able to free yourself, transform yourself, because you know putting your identity or having being attached to an identity that is attached to another person is a slippery slope, a very that's an illusion, really. And you will likely see this. There could be some kind of emotional purging that occurs. If something comes up with you and a loved one, for instance. But it might even be when you're by yourself and you're just realizing certain things that are going on with you. Could be a secret that comes out that, yeah, it could shake you to your core. But it could shake you to your core, especially if you've been in denial over it, because sometimes people act like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. And they were totally not looking at reality. They were kind of like sticking their head in the sand. So be prepared to feel the feels on this full moon. There could be even something financial. I feel like this is the eighth house is other people's money, so this could have something to do with inheritance. And it's also, it's 17 degrees, and 17 reduces to an 8. So this is an 8 house. 8 is material wealth. So it could be something like that too. That's financially lucrative. On the 22nd, the sun goes into Virgo, which is your third house of communication. 2 days later, we have a black moon, which is a very powerful new moon. And there's going to be a solar eclipse in Virgo as well at 29 degrees. These are bookend new moons. So 0 point, this is like creating something that's never been created before. Third house can be social media, can be blogs and stuff like that. So certainly you could use that, harness that energy for something along those lines if you wanted to. But anything to do with a writing project, teaching, learning, communicating to others, set your intentions, start something new. On the 25th, Venus goes into Leo, that second house of earned income. So that can be very good. Venus is a ruler of the second house. So when she is in her own domain, that is what she specializes in. So that could be a boost to your income in the next few weeks. And on the 26th, the next day, Mercury comes out of its shadow. So these third house activities, like where the new moon is located. And by the way, because it's at 0 degrees, you might have this, you could possibly have this in your second house. So this might be also financially lucrative for you. But anyway, that's what I have for you, Cancer. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you would like a private reading, I'm promoting my double readings especially. I have ones with the tarot, but this is a double astrology reading called my deep dive reading, which is an hour of natal chart analysis, an hour of transits for the next 12 months for a special price. And these two readings, I put them together because when I first started 10 years ago, I had a combination reading with these two for like an hour, and it would go on like way longer because there wasn't enough time to talk about the transits and the chart. So I just did them separately, and then I thought, okay, let me combine them and then offer a discounted price. That's called my deep dive reading, and I have other package deals. I like the tarot as well. All three of those readings, they're all full-length readings. That's called the whole enchilada, and I have single readings. You can find out more information at the link below. Thanks for listening. Bye.